Hey there, Earthlings. Thanks for tuning in to the Bardo Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Bardo, where we talk about health, happiness, and anything else that's important to us humans. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast by visiting thebardo.com or just click the little subscribe button wherever you listen to the podcast. And be sure to check out my Instagram at thebardo for all the latest videos and content. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode.
You're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gents, hey, what is going on? Thanks for tuning in to another episode. I am your host, Tony Bardo. This episode's a lot of fun. I end up chatting with an old friend. He's been on the show numerous times just because we love shooting the shit, and he's a good dude. He's over in Cali, West Coast, so it's always fun to kind of get that side of the world, especially with everything going on. We don't dip too much into that on this episode, but we have in the past, and of course, being in Florida, it's a different world over here. But this episode, we actually get a chance to talk about his new movie. I just got a chance to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Handler. You can check it out on Instagram or Twitter at The Handler Movie. But just a lot of fun to talk to him about that, pretty much his first action movie where he's like a legit action star. And I got a chance to watch it, so we talk about that. We talk about what he has going on and other ways you could check him out in Hollywood. But proud of this dude. We've come a long way. We both were, if you've heard other episodes that we've talked about that he's been on, we both come from LA Fitness. He was a trainer. I was in sales, and I transitioned to a trainer. And we got a chance to work out a lot together, and that was when he was back in Florida. So now he's big time. So I'm surprised he actually gets the time to chat with a little peasant like myself. You could follow him on Instagram at only Chris Levine. Everyone, please help me welcome Chris Levine. Wow, he got creative with that Instagram, didn't he? But it's so funny because you actually used to be so good at logging in. Like, what happened?
It wouldn't work on a phone. I use my phone is everything, dude, and I don't know why it wouldn't log in on my phone.
That's cool, bud. Yeah, I'm sure it's not your fault.
Yeah, nothing to do with eCam.
No, this is always perfect. So what's up, bud?
Good, man. What's up with you? Like, you've been going through some health shit, bro. Fuck everything else.
Oh yeah, no, my life has been horrible the last 6 weeks.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Like, it's kind of one of those things that pushes your character, and like your drive to continue to like wake up every day when you're dealing with like one thing after the other. Like, what the fuck? This isn't living.
Yeah, or kill yourself. One of the two.
Or kill yourself. I think I just read an article that the first person in South America or something like that died via euthanasia.
Oh, really? Like
they just wanted to end it.
Like Kevorkian style.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that's allowed now, and that just happened yesterday. They weren't even terminal. I think they just had some kind of sickness. They were just like,
fuck this.
It's not the way to live.
I guess. Oof, I don't know.
Crazy decision.
I think it's who said it? I think it was Louis C.K. Anything raunchy and dirty, you can always pretty much say it's probably Louis.
Yeah.
But he said something like, he goes, well, I'm glad everyone's here tonight. And he goes, by everyone, I mean, not everyone.
Right.
There's only a few thousand people here. He goes, I would even probably challenge to say the vast majority of humans aren't here tonight. So really, it's not everybody. And he goes, this room is pretty much filled with people that didn't kill themselves today. Like, that's because, I mean, you woke up one day and you're like, life is better than killing myself.
Yeah.
But then there's a small percentage of people that
kill themselves a day. Let's see.
That's a great question. Jamie?
Let's look it up. Jamie, find the answer for me. Suicides per day.
You doing global?
Yeah, do a world.
Yeah, you gotta do global. Yeah.
About 800,000 people.
That's not bad.
Out of 8 billion, so what is that? 1%?
1%.
1%, yeah. 1%.
Every day.
Every day.
So hold on, let me do something here.
Yeah.
Alexa, what's 800,000 times 365? 292 million. So if 1% of the population didn't kill themselves, every year we would have 292 million more people a year.
Wow.
So thank you for everybody.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding. SuicideHotlinePrevention.com. If
Yes, you're getting canceled for that clap. I didn't clap, everybody. Everybody watched, I did not clap.
He did not clap. He's promoting a movie and he is woke. He's very woke.
Yeah, I'm woke right now.
Yeah. No, but that's crazy though, dude. That's a lot. Yeah, no, it's been, you know, I always kind of look at things. I mean, I've always been this way where things could always get worse anyway. And like, I like to think over the years I've gotten a lot more perspective on stuff. So, you know, even like when I was in the hospital, I did a podcast on it.
Yeah,
And,
I saw it.
yeah, thanks. You were the one.
I was the one person that viewed it.
And it's like, you know, there's people that don't have, you know, clean drinking water. And that's the reason I wanted to do the podcast in the hospital, because I didn't know what was going to happen, where the diagnosis was going to be. And of course, like I broke down in tears when they told me it was a tumor, and it still potentially could be. I won't know until tomorrow. I got a follow up. But yeah, I mean, you know,
Did you say to them, it's not a tumor? Did you have a sense of humor right there? Or no?
If Brenda wasn't with me, I probably would have, but she broke down and then I broke down, and it was, but if they weren't with me, I'd be like, it's not a tumor.
Yeah, and they'd be like, sir, it's not a joking matter. I don't know where that's from, but it's not funny.
Yeah, but you know, it was it was kind of hard to.
The thing of that though is that it wasn't cancerous, dude, and I think that overall is the bigger picture there, right? Because
for sure,
we know once that path is started, it's a horrible year ahead of you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And like kind of like a life where it's like a little cold or something. You might, is it back? You know, for the rest of your life. You know, so
that's right. Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, that was huge. The only thing that kind of worried me a little bit is they're like, yeah, it still, you know, could be a tumor, but we the biopsy we did was only on the outer portion.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, it still could be cancerous inside because they only scrape a little bit. And I'm like, well, I mean, you got to know, right? I mean, there's, he's like, yeah, I mean, probably 80% of the time when we scrape, there's usually like pus and blood and it looks gross. Like we're like, that's cancer for sure. So that didn't happen, which was a huge plus.
Right.
You know, but even if it is, the good news is getting it taken out.
Yeah. Which has to happen regardless.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you sound okay though. I mean, has your body just developed like, hey, this is the new me for now? Like you don't like look sick, you're not coughing or anything?
Thanks. I mean, aside from, I mean, I don't know if you could, I mean, look at that.
Yeah, you lost some weight, brother.
Bro, I lost almost 20 pounds. I mean, it's because I can't even like, you know, I tried to run around and do some, I mean, I can't do anything. Just it's so blocked. It's like working with one lung, and my body's just not, my body's not used to it, I guess. Cause I even playing around with our new puppy.
Yeah.
I'll start, you know, coughing really bad. Like my cough is really rough still. I think I've gotten used to the cough and taken like some over the counter stuff like suppressants. Cause once I cough, dude, it's like, it's unexplainable. Yeah, it's unexplainable. It's almost
Constantine.
Here's a good example. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
Okay.
But like the one thing that I could probably like, you remember you take a lot of multivitamins, I'm sure, like I do. So I'm trying to relate this. But if you swallow like a multivitamin, you know that feeling you have where you keep trying to wash it down?
It's the worst.
That's what it feels like all the time in my lung when I breathe.
No shit, huh?
Like I could feel it.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and when I cough, it's almost like it doesn't feel thick. It feels kind of like something's just kind of
hanging
like
out.
like I could feel it. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, and it's you know, it's my right lung, so it's kind of like in my right oblique, like my lat almost higher, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's right here. Yeah.
So fucking crazy. Now, the first thing I would ask them is, how does someone like me, right, who not only am I vegan, I work out like 5-6 times a week. I'm as healthy as you can be for my age. How does something like this happen? Like, did you ask them that?
I did. And
what was their response?
Well, they said first thing they go, well, because I go to this hospital all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Because of the Crohn's, right?
Yeah. Nurse is like, hey, did you want the Jello tonight? Cherry, right? I was like, yeah. But first thing they go is, you know, we saw that you were here for Crohn's and you were on Humira, yeah? And I go, yeah. And they go, well, there's a lot of patients that take that even if they go through remission, the side effects, could be cancer, tumor growths, tuberculosis, all these massive
Oh
chronic
shit.
diseases. Yeah. So that was the first thing they said. I didn't buy it personally.
No.
No. I mean,
What do you think it is?
I have a job again, so I won't go into too much detail what I think it is,
Yeah.
but just everything that I'm hearing, and I even have my buddy Richie, who just told me he had 2 of his friends in their 30s that have respiratory illnesses now, and
You think it's a vaccine?
there's a small
Whoa.
part of me that does.
Whoa.
Yeah. Here's why. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Is so the reason Humira is so shitty, just like a lot of the other stuff, is because it's an immune suppressant.
Right.
So ultimately, with Crohn's, because it's an immune deficiency disease, and your immune system lives in the intestines and the gut, right? So what it does is it suppresses your immune system, so that way your body has the strength to fight off the inflammation. In this case, it would be Crohn's.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, the reason why they say when you take the vaccine or whether you don't take the vaccine, any type of illness, whether that's SARS or COVID or whatever, or flu, you're going to be at higher risk if you have a low immune system.
Right.
My concern is I already have a low immune system, and I'm taking this foreign substance that my body doesn't know what it is, even if it's completely safe for you. Let's just say.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a foreign substance that was made in a lab within a couple years. It's not FDA approved, obviously, and they don't know the side effects quite yet because there's not enough studies. So you put that into somebody that's already fighting a disease 24/7. I think this was my body's way of getting it, because it was interesting because they say the vaccine has 6-month I think shelf life, and then you got to take the booster. It was like I took it like 6 or 7 months ago.
It was right at the end of that.
Right at the end of it. So maybe my body was like, fighting it off, and then it's completely fine, but then the vaccine kind of lost its juice.
Yep.
And then my body kind of goes back to twice as worse, essentially.
Right.
And, that's how you get like pneumonia, and that's how you get the flu, is when your body is at its worst. You're more prone to those type of diseases. In fact, so I mean,
Wow.
I don't know, dude, because it worried me a little bit when I first went in for pneumonia.
Yeah.
Because I went to urgent care, and it was about 2 weeks after I had kind of like flu-like symptoms, and I couldn't push it, and I was having 102 every night, and it wasn't breaking for 2 weeks straight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because
That's
I
not
got
normal.
I got the COVID test, and I was clean, so I was like, oh, it's the flu, whatever. So I'm taking down Theraflu and doing teas and chugging Gatorade and Pedialyte, and 2 weeks later, nothing. She comes in, they do X-rays on me, they told me I had pneumonia, and she's like, that's so weird. You're like the 5th one this week that's in their 30s that had pneumonia.
No.
Yeah, and she was a nurse. Like, she wasn't a doctor. It was
Yeah.
urgent care.
Yeah.
They get paid fucking $10 an hour, whatever it is. So
Right.
she had no, I don't think, agenda. She just kind of casually said it, and I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. And I go, that's your reaction? Like, it's kind of weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's something I need to know.
Yeah.
So that kind of worried me.
God.
And then, so I just think it has a lot to do with maybe not the vaccine, maybe it's COVID itself, but, you got to think like we're so used to being outside.
Yeah.
All the time, interacting with people. We're getting sick all the time. Our immune systems are fighting off diseases 24/7. And then we go on lockdown for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the second people go outside again, your body doesn't know what the fuck it is, right? It's like...
It was not working out at all for 2 years, and then they tried to bench 315.
Right. And then fucking they get some lat tears and some delt tears and shit. Yeah.
Exactly, bro. Wow, man.
So
that's it. And I know you're not like a conspiracy theory dude. I wouldn't even consider you as like kind of far as Rogan goes, right?
No.
But this is like very interesting. It's a very interesting concept on how someone like you that healthy could all of a sudden have such a shit end of your year 6 months after the vaccine, a year and a half of being indoors, also, and then I guess that also puts into play patients who take Humira should maybe not get vaccinated, right? Well,
That's right.
you know, like maybe that's a study that needs to be talked about as well now.
Yeah.
How many millions of people probably take that?
Oh yeah, tons.
Tons.
And
So
you know, and it's not really uncommon, right? And that's kind of what worries me the most about it is you look at a thing like Humira, you know, there's something called I want to say it's something Advertising Act. Fuck, what is it? Oh, Fair Advertising Act, I think is what it is. And there's a reason why if you watch like Humira and Viagra commercials, you watch these commercials, whether they're FDA approved or not, there's something that these pharmaceutical companies have to go through an approval process, and they have to lay out the negative side effects before promoting any medication.
okay,
Right? You with me?
yeah,
What worries me the most is the vaccine is government funded,
yeah,
100% government funded.
yeah, yeah,
It's from these big pharmaceutical companies that we 4 years ago thought they were shady fucks and greedy bastards.
right.
But because they're vaccines, everything's fine now. They
now
don't
they're
like
heaven
money.
sent.
They don't like money. They're doing it to help the world.
Yeah,
That's right. So that's number 2. Number 3 is they're not giving us any negative like precautions, meaning
right.
it's not like Humira where, hey, you could take this, but you can also develop cancer, tumors, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
They're telling us take the vaccine
Yeah.
and you're not going to get COVID.
Yeah.
Well, now we know you can take the vaccine and still get COVID. But after a year of having the vaccine, they're still not laying out studies of, okay, there's a 30-year-old guy that potentially could develop a tumor. There's, you know, these are the side effects. You're telling me there's no studies. So either there is studies and they're not sharing it with us, and that's illegal. But who are we going to call, right?
Yeah.
It's funded by the government. So in that aspect, I'm a little bit more of a conspiracy theory because it just doesn't fit the line of what we know about the medical practice and pharmaceutical companies and medication and putting things in our body. Like, we've done it a different way.
Yeah.
For forever. I mean, look at what we did with cigarettes. Like, we thought cigarettes were great back in the day, right? There was even doctors and propaganda. I think it was the 60s.
Yeah, probably.
They were like, it was like, yeah, you should smoke. Like, it's good for you, yada, yada, yada. It strengthens your lungs, all this shit. And then they found out it causes cancer. Now they put it on the box.
Yep.
That's the Fair Advertising Act. So when you get the vaccine, there's no warning label. That would make me feel a little bit better if they're like, all right, listen, we can give you the vaccine. You'll probably still get COVID, but you might also get respiratory illnesses, growth, tumor. And then on the flip side of it, what even is more crazy to me is my vaccine was mandated when I worked at Monster.
Oh, they were part of that, huh?
So let's say if this is a cause, the vaccine's cause. First of all, we'll never know. Like, there's no...
They'll never let that out.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll never know. So that's number one. Number two, if that was the case, because I wouldn't have got it if it wasn't mandated.
Yeah. Oh, no, huh?
No, definitely not.
Interesting.
No. I again, I take care of my body good enough, even with my condition. I was, like, I never got sick. Like, I haven't had the flu in 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and the
Do you
reason
get cold like every year or anything like that?
sometimes around the winter, like a couple days, I'll get a runny nose, but
And that's about it?
yeah, like nothing that I would have to take medication for.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but I kind of had to because my immune disease, so I'm like, I kind of have to take extra care of my body. So I probably take more vitamin D, C, and zinc than anybody should, but I do that to counteract everything. So
You love that vitamin D.
D's nuts. So that's what kind of what worries me a little bit is like, it not only was it mandated and I had to take it, but now I don't work for the company anymore.
Yep.
And they let me go for obvious reasons that is in another podcast that I don't agree with. So not only did I have to get the
I
vaccine,
still tell people about that situation, by the way.
Thank you, man. That means a lot with, especially with you being in California. It's their backyard. So
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That whole situation. I know we're going off topic now, but I still to this day talk about why they let you go.
Yeah.
To people.
nuts.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it led to something really cool though, where you're at now. Bring it up. Oh, I can't see. There you go.
There you go. Drinkfocus.com, folks. I got to tell you though.
Focus.
Drink
You gonna
Focus.
send me a case? I'll like start promoting.
Yeah, dude, I got you. For sure.
All right, cool.
Bringing it to some
How
red
much does it
carpets
cost
and shit.
How much does it cost to fucking send a case of that? Like $400?
To you, it's hefty. Yeah.
It's hefty, bro.
Because it has to go through COVID testing. To send you a case. They have to put it through metal
Yeah.
detectors and all that. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, dude, that's yeah, they did me a favor. I mean, honestly, I'm very happy, and they they did me a favor. It just
That's cool.
it worries me that again, if it was because of the vaccine,
Right.
not
that
only
can
did I
also-
take
yeah.
it, I got let go, so now it doesn't matter, and now I'm stuck with what if it, God forbid, what if it's cancer? Like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
5 years later, we find out it's from the vaccine. What can I do with the company I worked to before? Like, I can't sue them.
Well, we all make the joke that in 5 to 10 years, we're going to have that late night infomercial that says, in the year 2020, did you take the vaccine from so and so? If so, you know what
Call
I mean? Like, yeah,
Morgan and
dude,
Morgan.
like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to happen, I think, no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just so sorry even going through that. Because I got sick around the same time with COVID or whatever. And it was like a bad flu for a week, and then like something with my inner ear made me dizzy for a few days, and now I've been dealing with just like a cough in the morning. But just dealing with that every day, not wanting to eat, not having energy, and I'm thinking like someone like you going through something so much heavier than that, right? And like how much strength it takes to get out of bed or brush your teeth even, or like any of those things. So I've been thinking about you, bro, and it's like it's been weighing heavy, but
Thanks,
I'm
man.
glad you look all right, man. And like when you found out it wasn't, at least not for sure, cancer, then
Yeah. The C
good
word.
thing. Yeah. Man, it's
No,
been a
man,
rough end of
thanks.
the year for you, man. Even with Brenda going through that too, man. It's super sad.
Yeah. No, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's it's definitely a test for sure. I feel like
Test for sure. Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it's preparing us for some serious shit, because yeah, that's what kind of fucked up. I feel bad for Brenda, obviously. Like, I think I could probably handle a lot, but she was trying to do what she could. I mean, I was in there for a week, man. Like,
It's a long time in a hospital.
yeah, dude. And then the day I was about to get out, without even getting results of the biopsy yet, so we were still
Yeah.
kind of scared a little bit. And then we get that call with her father passing away, and we're just like, whoa, bro, like what the
Yeah.
fuck? And then now
Could
it's
it be
kind
any
of
worse?
to go even deeper. It's like, he got cremated, which was great. We're gonna do a service, and
Mhm.
half of the ashes are gonna go to Puerto Rico, and the other half are gonna stay here in Florida. And there's gonna be 2 services. But now with the
Mhm.
pandemic, it's like people are even scared to do big gatherings like that.
Yeah, you
so
almost
then it's-
can't, right?
yeah. So then it's kind of like, fuck, man. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
you
we-
gotta almost do it virtual.
Yeah, and we've been doing this, like I on the side, I do some photography and videography, and we did this a buddy's wedding of ours, and we videotaped it. I put together a nice video. We did some photos, and
You
we
still doing the gay porn videography as well?
stop doing that.
Oh, okay.
Stop doing that. Yeah, doesn't pay enough, believe it or not, which is weird.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
this feels like there's probably a lot of people out there loving
Yeah.
to do it, I guess.
Unless it's anal. Anal pays a lot, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But I'm not gonna let someone give it to me. I'm gonna,
You're gonna be a top.
yeah, I'm the bear.
Good for you. Good for you, Bear.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's weird because we did that virtual, and that was almost 2.5. It was probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, still going.
Like, what's the end all be all here?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so strange.
It's the new norm for sure. Especially with like as Omicron. Am I saying it right? It's Omicron, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. As that has now taken the world by storm, right? My brother in Phoenix just got it. He said, I just got it, and but like, where's the next variant go?
Right.
Right. Like,
Well, how was his symptoms?
so pretty standard as everybody else right now with that Omicron. Like, you still have your taste and smell, but it's like a flu. It's like a bad flu.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking right now, but I don't think there's been a lot of deaths.
No.
And I think my big question would be, would it have been better if we just let us all get herd immunity and take it like a champ? I mean, because here's the thing, just like the flu, there's gonna be deaths.
Of course.
It's just so, man, the more and more I think about it, especially when I was in the hospital and I had nothing but negative things to think about,
Of course.
I went down the rabbit hole of like all this shit, and I'm thinking, we're doing so much work to prevent this disease that is really, yeah, it's a big deal, sure, but we don't do anything to prevent drunk driving. We don't do anything to prevent kids smoking, like aside
Right.
from putting a label on. Like we're creating all these mandates, and it really upset me about the whole thing when I found out about this, and that's all I could think about was like I had to get the vaccine to keep my job, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, imagine if you had to do a breathalyzer no matter what when you go in a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you got a DUI or not, like day one, that's what we're trained to do, like a seatbelt.
Right.
Like, what if tomorrow that was the mandate? Would
Yeah.
people be upset? Sure.
Yeah.
But that would have saved millions more lives than this will ever save. And it's
True.
like, what is the thought process? Because I'm trying to rack my brain around it. It's like, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist because what is the benefit? Aside from like Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, aside from them making billions of dollars, which, newsflash, they're not paying for the vaccine. It's all profit. So, FYI.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a problem, just so you know, folks out there. So aside from that, what's the government's thing in this? Like, what's their, like, do they want to kill half the population? I don't think so. I don't think they're that smart.
No. But if
I
they
don't know.
kill us, we're their number one source of income.
Correct.
So that's the only thing that's like the way I've been always looking at this situation is that they're trying to keep us alive, right? The problem is they don't know what to do, right? They're thinking the
Right.
vaccine works, it doesn't work, right? Like they saying like I guess it doesn't kill us at that point, right? But they're trying to keep us alive because they know we're their source of income.
Right.
So I don't think they're trying to purposely kill us with the vaccine.
You're right, and I agree. But then I also worry about, I go back to cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know for sure that causes deaths. Like, there's no question.
It will kill you, and yet they're still legal.
They're still legal.
Yeah.
Same thing with same thing with a lot of stuff. Same thing with the food we put in our body. Like, we know for sure that there's carcinogens and a lot of other bullshit that's in foods that we're able to consume and preservatives, and
Yeah.
the FDA allows it.
Yeah.
And they know it kills us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and here's the big mind fuck. They don't want to kill us. Similar to climate change, they're in it for the now. They know for sure that they can make money. The FDA can make money. Pharmaceutical companies can make, and they know for sure that we're going to keep fucking and procreating and making babies.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they kill half of us, another half is coming tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like suicide prevention, what are we doing for that? What was the number? 880,000?
800,000 a year.
800,000 a year. They let that keep
Yeah.
going. You know, why aren't they doing things to keep people from committing suicide? Why aren't they helping the homeless? Why aren't they, like, there's so many other things we could do. Why aren't they helping Detroit and Michigan with their water? Like, there's so many things that we could do to help save more lives, but they choose not to. Instead, they invest billions of dollars in something that isn't more dangerous than the flu. It's so weird. It just doesn't make sense, all the stuff they're doing. And, you know, you bring up Rogan, and of course I listen to Rogan a lot, but he makes a good point where now that they're able to do this stuff, like they're able to make these mandates and shut down restaurants and cities, it's the government, it's the president, it's the vice president, it's the Senate. They're not going to pull back this power.
No, they have it now.
Like, they know it's possible.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's scary.
Yeah. They have the power, and they tested it, and they have it.
And it works.
You know. It
And
works.
then, like, what are we going to do? What are we going to go live in fucking Central America? No, we're going to
No.
just bite the bullet. And,
Yeah.
you know, like I talk about this when I talk finances on some episodes, and I talk about saving money and stuff. And I'm like, listen, the government could raise your taxes. Like, you're in Cali. You guys get bent over all the time.
Mhm.
Every day, no matter what you buy, and at the end of the year, forget it. But they could tell you tomorrow that your tax are going to increase by 10%.
Yeah.
You're going to pay it.
Yeah, because you're more than welcome to leave.
Yeah, it's always been like that. You can leave.
Always like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
just a state over is cheaper taxes than you guys.
Yeah.
You can easily leave,
Yeah.
but you're choosing to pay, and we're giving away so much power and so much free will. Well, not just with the government, but just in general. Like, restaurants are doing so much to sacrifice their bottom line and their profit to help this disease, and we're trusting not a lot of studies behind it. And that's what's a little bit more terrifying is, you know, we're putting in the hands of people that aren't affected every single day. I don't know. And it's a different world where I'm at versus where you're at.
Totally different. Like
So-
my mom just had a situation at Publix yesterday.
Oh, do
And
tell.
I guess in Publix, they don't, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. And it's like a sign right on the front of their stores. It says, hey, if you're vaccinated, no mask needed. So she's in there, she's vaccinated with a booster and everything like that. So she's not wearing a mask. And I was like, well, are you like one of the only ones not wearing a mask? Like, what is the situation? And she goes, no, nobody wears a mask in there. It's Publix.
No.
I was like, okay,
It's Florida.
that's fine. It's Florida. Yeah, it's Florida and it's Publix. It's Florida as you could get is Publix, right?
Right.
So she had this situation where she was like trying to get like something out of the frozen section, and some woman with a mask like it was like got crazy at her because she wasn't wearing a mask. And my mom was like looking around, and there was like big black guys with no mask and like other people with no mask, and like this chick decided to pick on my mom, right, when there's everyone around this woman with no mask, you know. And it's creating a division between us is what this is also doing, you know.
That's right.
It's fucking sad.
No, it is. It's very sad. And it almost makes you think like, I don't know if our government is so intelligent to create this massive thing, but it's like, what if, you know, imagine if there was like an Epstein in Russia, like an Epstein type in Russia. That's like the puppet master to just a few government officials. And it's like, all right, bro, this is what you're going to do.
Right.
You're going to do fucking this. You're going to tell them to do this. You're going to tell them to do that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in 5 years, you know, China's probably more of a better example, where maybe they're controlling something, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, man, you need to do this to your country. And we're going to do it. And then we're getting divided. And whether it's China or Russia, those other, like, this is where my conspiracy theory goes to where I just don't think our country's they're just not smart enough to do all this. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's so weird that they wouldn't do this with other stuff to help us.
Yeah, there's influences behind everything, right? And it's always money and power. So
that's right. Maybe
they're on the power trip right now in the sense of like, hey, like you said, like, oh shit, we can actually shut down stuff, like, and they're gonna listen. Our puppets are gonna listen. Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. That's like the first time you like yell at your dog and it listens. You go, oh. Ooh. Or like the spray bottle. If the spray bottle works, you know, and you're teaching them like how to do stuff, you're like, oh, now they're gonna use it against us, right? Like, hey, don't make us bring the spray bottle out.
Right.
You know, you guys don't like it.
That's right. Dude,
I don't know.
I love that analogy because we just got the puppy. So
yeah, exactly.
So like the first time he pissed, he did a little piss. Well, he's potty trained now, which is good. He's like 10 weeks, so we got him trained really well. But yeah, the first couple times he pissed on the ground. Give him a little tap on the nose, just a little tap. Now moving forward, if I know he's about to, I go, I raise the hand, and he knows what time it is. He'll go right to the patio door. Yep. So it's like you're right. Once you have that power, you're like, ooh. So now even if he just upsets me for whatever reason, I raise the hand.
He knows. Yeah.
So, yeah, dude. But anyway, so the handler.
If you're still watching, folks, everybody's you like lost half of them, right? Like half of them are like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" The other half's like, "Yeah, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan."
Or they're like, the other half's like, yeah. And then the second we start talking about the handler, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
We're done here. What is this shit movie he's talking about?
Yeah. No, but dude, listen. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're gonna eventually get back to normal. It looks like movie theaters are opening up again, which is great for you and your career. On average, if these 50 states get back to normal in some capacity, I think in 5 years this thing will be just another bullshit thing we dealt with. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal down the road, but it's going to take some time. Yeah. So it sounds like we're getting there, which is good.
I'm interested to see like the flu shot, if that's going to be a yearly thing for COVID. Like, here, get your SARS vaccination if you want it. You know. Yeah.
Well, what worries me the most is, what if they don't get the best redemption on vaccines or boosters, and then just like us not telling them, like, what's in the flu vaccine? Do you know?
Oh yeah,
nobody fucking knows. So what if they just mix up a little fucking flu COVID cocktail and just start giving that people saying it's the flu
The
vaccine.
flu Rona, bro. A case of flu Rona in California just happened. Like,
Seriously?
look it up. Flu fucking Rona, dude.
What is that?
It's the person had COVID and the flu.
Shut the fuck up. Were they vaxxed up?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know the details of it.
Flu Rona
Flu
case.
Rona. Yeah.
Reports about a dual infection with the flu virus and the coronavirus has been making sensational headlines recently. Oh, here you go. Last week, Israel confirmed the first case of flu Rona in an unvaccinated woman. Of course, she was unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by a growing number of cases in children in the United States. None were seriously ill, but the name flu Rona has definitely stuck. It sounds like Sharknado, Dr. Sad Almer says, the director of Yale. Yeah, I'm going to stop reading this. Okay. What a
The
fucking...
director of Yale compared to the Sharknado.
The fact that he's seen Sharknado and I haven't.
Wow.
Go back to Yale, you clown.
That's a clown move.
That is a clown move. How to prevent the co-infection. See, this is what we need to know. On this one, the medical advice remains consistent. You ready for this? From the New York Times. Here's how to prevent both infections. Get vaccinated for the flu and for COVID.
Right.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Although, good news though, if you get the vaccine, you could potentially still get COVID. Potentially. But you have the vaccine though.
Yeah.
So that's
we
good.
won't die. That's what they mean. We're not going to die.
That's good. See, again, what's so weird about it, and this is the last thing I'll say about the vaccine.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting topic because with the flu vaccine, you're getting the flu. They physically inject you with the flu.
Yeah.
So because you want to build up immunity to it.
Right.
With COVID, for whatever reason, for medical experts that are way smarter than us, decided that that's not the healthiest route to go. So they give you these protein type of things that fight off.
The messengers, yeah.
The messengers that go around and say, hey, bro, this is cool. Fight this shit off when it comes by, and then bounce. Cool?
Yeah.
Deuces.
But they don't do that with the flu. It's interesting, right?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and it's more interesting, especially now when people are still getting it, if you're vaxxed up. You know, because I also read this study that I don't think it was Yale, especially after Sharknado boy, but there was a study that maybe came at Harvard where they're doing these micro doses of peanuts in children that have allergies.
To try to build their system up to it?
That's right. Have you heard of this?
I haven't, but that's a crazy idea. I like it.
Look it up when you get some time, and you folks out there too. But yeah, it's interesting because now they're not having as bad of allergies. Like these are the folks that their throats swell up, but they give them a little microdose of the actual peanut. They don't actually feed them peanuts, but they give them little microdoses. And I don't know if it's intramuscular or not, but yeah, apparently it's working and it's helping some allergies and stuff. Yeah.
I've been so blessed in the sense of like really no allergies, no, like there's nothing I can't eat or drink or whatever. But like I have, friends that like they get around it, even like breathing the air of a peanut and they can fucking die. And it's like just things like that is so crazy to like imagine living life like that,
That's insane. I couldn't imagine. By the way, look this up. It's you don't have to do it now, but if anybody's out there looking, verywellfamily.com talks about how microdosing kids with peanut allergies may end the risk of their serious reactions. Key takeaways: a new study has found that oral immunotherapy can reduce the risk of severe reaction from accidentally eating peanuts amongst 98% of the children with the peanut allergy. Research comes from a year after the FDA approved the first ever oral immunotherapy drug. Oh, so I guess it's already out. While highly effective, this immunotherapy drug may cause side effects and require an ongoing daily commitment for long-term effectiveness. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But, again, that science is with a lot of stuff, right? They're doing it with shrooms and PTSD.
Yeah.
And they're microdosing that. But, again, we're not microdosing the COVID. Awkward.
I would like to try to start microdosing shrooms and see how it changes my demeanor every day.
You better move out of California, bud.
I know. I don't think there was talks that they were trying to legalize shrooms like that, but I don't think it's passed yet.
No, but soon.
No.
Yeah, no, I think Seattle maybe started doing it.
Yeah.
Oregon. Ironically, the super left States, which is interesting.
Yeah,
So Cali should be next.
I would think so.
Yeah, but no, that should be interesting. I heard it. I heard there's a lot of great benefits.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's also kind of one of those other funky things where who's going to manage it, right? Is it the FDA that's going to manage it? Because that's why I'm not a big fan of going to dispensaries. It's not really regulated. So like I'm buying, 20 megs of quote unquote, 90% THC, 10% CBD, but they could just slap a label on it and it's not approved by anybody. Like there's no regulation.
No, there's not.
So, because I don't want to be taking a handful of fucking shrooms. It's like it's like that time I was out in Cali and ended up getting a couple pre-rolls, and remember when we were out, we did dinner, and like I did a bunch of edibles, and remember in Cali it was legal, so chill out, folks. I got that pre-roll, the second one, like hours later because I was fine, and Brenda doesn't really smoke a lot, so she was taking hits here and there, and then right before I went, I'm like, I took a bunch. You're like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
And you took the rest like a champ, and or you just threw it away and you were just trying to make me look cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I took it, and then I'm in the fucking Uber, and I get back to the hotel, and I was gone.
Yeah.
But this again, the label said it was like 60%, 70% THC. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've done worse than that.
Yeah.
I have not.
No.
That was the worst. Yeah.
It's dangerous out here sometimes.
Dude, insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Anyway,
Handler? We're going back to the Handler? I have a movie out, everybody.
We'll slowly we'll build up to that. Maybe I'll reverse. I'll start with the beginning of this, and I'll put that in the beginning to kind of keep the attention. But how is Cali over there? I mean, it looks like you've done, because you did the Broadway, right? The Vampire Broadway. What was that?
Thing. So we shot The Handler in 2020. I also shot one movie in 2020 in Alaska. That's still in like post-production.
Nice.
So The Handler just got released a couple weeks ago, and it's doing well. We're, it's like it's split feedback on reviews, like everything I fucking do. I feel like I can't make like a movie for the masses yet, but like this film is like, if you're in either the target demographic or you're going, I'm just gonna have a couple beers and watch this kind of lighthearted like action flick where this dude is against the odds and kicks everybody's ass, and just be like, oh well, either whether it was cheesy or choreographed correctly or not, like you're still just enjoying the 70-80 minute ride, right?
That's right.
Then you have the people that come in and go, this is not fucking John Wick, bro. Like, this is a 1 out of 10 movie. This is no fucking John Wick. Like, what the fuck were you thinking, bro? Like, that's so crazy to think that these people that give it 1 out of 10 stars are comparing it to those kind of films. Our budget in the total movie was probably like their lunch one day on set of John Wick. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I try in like interviews and stuff like that about it. The first thing I always try to say is, listen, it's low budget. We shot it in like 8 days, so take that into effect. Yeah, it's 8 days. We did multiple fights a day, no pre-rehearsals. It was literally on the set. Our fight choreographer, Matt, and the director would go, we want to do a fight there. And he'd go, with who? Okay, cool. And then within an hour, we'd be filming it.
Oh, shit.
That's all it was, So of course you're not going to get fucking perfection and like enough time to do camera angles correctly. Like,
Right.
But you just watched it. That was the first. Did I ever send you the link before? No.
No. Why? Huh. Did you send me a link? Like to?
I feel like.
What do I get?
Watch, I thought I sent you like a screener like months ago.
Oh, maybe you did.
Yeah. All right, but you watched it anyways. Thanks for the support.
Yeah. Well, I would buy it anyway, even if you gave me the screening. I don't want to see that shit early. I want to wait. I want to buy it like a normal human. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this gold-plated treatment that I get. It's enough.
It's terrible.
It's enough. No.
Just don't discount code, okay?
Use the code Chris10. No, but it was good, man. I mean, I enjoyed it only because, but yeah, I go into it. I love all your movies only because it's kind of rad to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
Especially, usually it's just me watching myself on YouTube and the podcast. Yeah. So to see someone else that I recognize, it's kind of cool.
It's cool.
No, but I enjoyed it, dude. I mean, I think again, indie, low budget. I go into it thinking it's gonna be Blair Witch.
Right.
You know, it's gonna be a director that's shaking his hands, and the choreography is gonna be whatever.
Yeah.
I know how much you train for it, which you trained a lot for this, but I know in general, it's not like you've been kickboxing with Conor McGregor for 10 years. So I'm going into it thinking he's going to be okay. There's probably going to be a couple things I'm going to critique in his fighting. And then I ended up watching it, and I was like, hold on. The choreography was actually really good. And the fact that you just told me, you got like an hour notice, like I'm impressed. You actually, you looked like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
If I could be so bold.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I only trained 30 days for it. And
wow.
Yeah, and everybody says like, well, you could see that Chris is like a trained fighter, but like just the movie wasn't that good, right? Like that's a lot of what reviewers will say. And like the fact is I'm not a trained fighter. Like literally just 30 days trying to learn how to throw a punch, and then
maybe it's because you got the body for it.
Ooh, hey. What sucks is that let's talk about diving for that shit. So what sucks is that up to that point, I think we shot it in like July of 2020. Gyms had been shut down for like 4 months at that time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I can't work out at home. I was like, fuck it. Well, you know what? The first time in like 15 years, I'm not going to give a shit about I'm going to turn off my body dysmorphia and just relax. Right.
Wow.
And then after 4 months of kind of just, this is what a normal guy does after, if he goes to work, he comes home and he just sits on the couch, and like seems like a good life actually.
It's not bad.
And it's not bad. And then the director hit me up and was like, yo, we're gonna do this fighting movie in this location. You have about 30 days. I was like, shit. So no gym. I just had to like kind of begin the diet immediately, and it's just pretty standard bodybuilding diet, low carb, proteins all day, no snacks, no sugar, no, very little fat.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to where I wanted to get, but within 30 days, it was something that there's parts of the film where I'm like, okay, yeah, like the shoulder definition was there and shit like that.
No, it looked good. And I liked it because it's, again, like I watch like a movie, again, comparing it to with, The Rock.
Yeah.
Like when The Rock's in a fight scene, I'm like, and he's getting hit by some dude not as big as him, I'm like, this is stupid. Like that wouldn't, even if that happened, his like delt would like just pop out and injure the guy. So I kind of like the fact that you weren't Jason Statham shredded.
Right.
Like I enjoyed
there is that relatability to it.
That's right. The authenticity of it to where, again, if I'm a kid and let's say you had a $100,000 budget versus what you had, and I'm a kid and I'm watching that flick, I'm like, I could totally grow up and be this guy.
Yeah.
But if I watch The Transporter, I'm like, it's not my hero. I can never.
Fantasy at that point.
That's right.
Yeah.
So no, I enjoyed that, and I think you got to go into that attitude when you watch an indie or a low budget film where, there's X amount of people on it, there's a very small amount of money that goes into it, and it's for the love of just filming something that's a cool story. Yeah. And I mean, the only thing I personally, and I got to write a review on it too on Amazon. Which it'll be as good as you review my podcast.
You can do 4 stars. You don't have to give 5. Let's be realistic here.
We'll see how this interview goes. Okay, that'll dictate.
Yeah.
So far,
a star a minute.
Yeah. So far you're at like a 4. So try to work up to a 5. No, the only thing I would probably say is, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that because the fight scenes I thought were great.
Yeah.
But there's a few things where maybe it was a little bit longer in the flashbacks, which was interesting, key to the story, but getting those cut up. But if you do that, now you're at like an hour. That's no good. So I get that concept too. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And like, there really wasn't any story when the script was given to me. It was just the idea. Yeah, there was no story. It was like the idea that, hey, I just want to make this action film that's like 80s, 90s, and like just send as many people as we can hire at you to fight. And that's it, and like you're protecting this bag and we won't tell anyone what's in the bag. And that was the story, right?
Yeah.
But then I think as we either shot it or like after cutting it and knowing it was only like an hour of fighting or whatever, he's like, okay, well, what do we need to do to create a story? And that's when he like created the flashbacks with my son running on the beach or training with the mat guy or those moments with my sister. And like, does the story need any of that stuff? Probably not, you know. But
You got to
to
fill the
make it,
gaps.
you got to fill the gaps, and to make it an actual 80 minute, 85-minute movie. You know?
Well, and that's what people don't understand is like, you know, you might go into a movie thinking, well, why isn't it just an hour and a half of just nonstop fighting? Well,
Yeah.
that costs more money.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge with like a low budget film is more so than a John Wick, you have to have those moments. Like there's a reason why now at John Wick 4, I think he's coming out with, and again,
Yeah.
not to compare the two, but it's
Right.
so funny where there's going to be very little dialogue and very little story building. Like
Yeah.
he'll probably, if he has a new dog, we won't know why he got it. He'll just,
No.
it'll be there
Yeah.
because that's just, because the 2 hour time frame is going to be nothing but nonstop crazy action, stunt, CGI, ridiculous shit. So that's
And
the
it's
difference.
awesome.
And it's
It's
great.
awesome.
Such a
Yeah.
great movie, and I'm going to watch it. Although I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I was a little disappointed in Matrix Revolutions. Did you watch that?
Oof, I did watch it. Now, if I saw it in a theater, would I have thought a little differently about the film? Because like I've seen things in theaters that I enjoyed, and then like I'll talk to my brother or something and be like, and he'll watch it on TV, and he hated it. But in the experience of the theater, I really enjoyed it. I watched it at home, and I have surround sound. I have a 65-inch, but I just didn't care about anything to do with that movie.
No.
Like I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about the rescue of, and it was confusing where they're going back and forth. What pill? Where is he at? I don't know. Is that how you felt too?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think it probably would have made more sense if it was, 5 years after the third one and not 20,
Mhm.
maybe.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I think they did a good job explaining why Morpheus wasn't Morpheus,
Mhm.
and like that kind of made sense. I mean, here's my question: is just like the vaccine, is like why? Why are we doing it? Like what? So you want to redo this story, but why? Why not just bring back Lawrence Fishburne and have a better story? Did he not want to do it? Because I heard he wanted to do it, and I heard they made
course
it
he'll do
without.
it.
Yeah, but they made it without telling him. And the fact that you see the chemistry that they had in John Wick, I think people would go just because of that. Like,
They
because
wanna
when I
see
was
that.
watching John Wick and it was Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves on the screen, all I thought about was Matrix.
Of course.
And I'm like, how great would it be if they made a sequel with these two again? And then
Yeah.
you give me that raging hard on for 3 John Wick movies.
Yeah.
And then you got the opportunity to bring it back and you choose to bring out this younger guy that's not even a real human. Spoiler alert. And he's also creating a video game that is off the Matrix, and you spend 45 minutes in that story. I mean, I don't know.
Stupid, bro.
Here was my
That's-
honest feedback if I had to be a reviewer. My
Yeah.
paragraph feedback would have been action scenes were great, but I feel like the director, who's a woman, who's the sister, right, of the Wachowski brothers, shout out.
Well, it is the Wachowski brothers, just not anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No. Why would
Yeah,
that?
they're trans.
Ooh. Oopsie.
Yeah.
Definitely getting canceled for that one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to skip exactly what I was going to say then.
Yeah, they're no longer.
Wait, hold
the
on.
Brothers.
So both of them are, or
Are
just
trans
one?
now.
Both of them. are.
I thought both of them. Yeah.
Well, that actually might explain my criticism on this then. Whatever, it's 2022. If people don't like what I say, you'll live. Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
My whole thing was Keanu Reeves, who is the one, and spent 3 movies building up to that. And the 4th one, which you had the opportunity to really like spend some money on CGI, and there were some awesome scenes in there. But the whole time he's just pushing things.
It's annoying.
And he had some incredible choreography, probably some of the best that I've seen him do, because he's actually a legit like black belt, like he's a good fighter. And he knows karate and jiu-jitsu and all this stuff. So to not utilize his skills that he physically has in real life was upsetting. And then in the 4th one, he does no moves, no fighting. So he looked like kind of a bitch. And instead of being the one, he's
Trinity
almost...
saved him more than anything.
And that's my problem. Such a obvious move to make the one a girl,
A woman.
just like you did with Star Wars, and just like you did with Ghostbusters, and just like you did with Ocean's 11, and you want to be so fucking woke and give women the power. You make your own movie. You don't completely destroy 3 films, in my opinion, and end it like this. Because even the director said, they said that this is it. Like, they're done.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. That's
yeah.
upsetting.
I felt the feminism in the Matrix as well.
A little bit too much.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is like when Neo is the one, when he's in the Matrix, he sees the green code, right? So like he doesn't see what normal people see anymore. He sees the code that we're created. He sees the software. But they totally removed that whole situation in this one.
It's like it didn't exist.
It didn't like yeah, exactly. It didn't exist at all. Like in reality, when 3 helicopters were shooting at him, he easily in the code could have just blinked and all 3 of them should have exploded, right? Like,
but because
so
because he ended it and he sacrificed himself, it was a reboot. So he got like kind of reset. And again, even if that's the case, I get it. Okay, fine. I can live through that. But now you're going to give the power to somebody. So now this is a new code. But
it's a new program.
But you spent 3 movies building up his power.
Yeah.
And now in one movie, in a 2-hour span, you gave the same power to the girl. Yeah. And what's even more crazy is Trinity was like the Sigourney Weaver of the 90s. Right? Like Sigourney Weaver back in the 70s and 80s with Alien, she was like, fuck feminism, dude. She was a badass. She was like Rambo.
Yeah, she's Rambo.
And it's not like things have gotten worse for women. Things have gotten significantly better since the 70s for women, for sure.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're pretending like women don't have the power, did you not see the 3 Matrix movies? Trinity was saving Neo more than he was saving other people. Like, she was a badass.
Yeah. As a human.
As a human being.
Need special powers to do that.
So it's kind of like you're devaluing it a little bit, and I just couldn't buy it. Now, if you made that 2 movies, I might be into it. Like if you had Neo build up to his powers again, and maybe the sequel, you give her the same powers.
Yep.
I could be into that, but the fact that you just kind of rebooted everything, again, it's like my criticism with Ghostbusters when they did it with the girls. It's like, what are you doing?
It wasn't necessary.
No, what are you doing?
Nobody asked for it, you know?
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, the fight scenes were cool. It's just a lot of CGI. I mean, that's to be expected, but I was such a big Matrix fan, and to watch that, I was kind of like, I don't know.
There's a picture you should find and put it up on the screen. It's like the 4 Matrix movies, and it's a drawing of a horse, and the horse progressively gets worse. Have you seen this?
Horse Matrix meme. All right, here it is, folks.
Yeah.
Is that it?
It's kind of it, right? Like, like that's the truth, though. Like how it progressively just got lazier and lazier.
I just say, like, what's the point? Like, if you're gonna do it and you have the budget, like, I have no doubt John Wick 4 is gonna be fantastic.
No doubt.
Because they're not changing.
They don't need to change the wheel, right? Like with this, it's almost like they could have just remade the 3rd one with the technology we have now.
That's right.
And like, we still would have been in heaven, right?
Oh my God. Because the 3rd one itself was just ridiculous.
And it really pushed the boundaries of where we were at VFX wise, almost to where it was like, I'm not buying it right now.
Right. But I could have bought it today in 2022.
Easily. Yeah. What we're doing now is crazy, right?
Like, imagine if the handler had that budget. What?
It probably wouldn't have started me, to be honest with you.
It would get canceled. But speaking of sequels, though, one thing I did see in theaters was No Way Home. Spider-Man.
Oh my God. One of the greatest Marvel movies.
Are you kidding me?
Ever created, bro. And I thought Avengers Endgame was like, that epic ending was like, to me, like such an amazing moment. But seeing all 3 Spider-Mans on screen talking to each other and joking and like the little moments they had, it gives me chills, bro. It was so amazing.
It was so amazing. And, you know, that's a perfect example where I love Scorsese to death, but he's wrong.
He's wrong.
He's wrong. He might have been right 10 years ago. Maybe. Now they've gotten to the point to where they are not just superhero movies. Like those 3, especially, dude, that scene, spoiler alert, but that scene when Tom Holland lost a family member or a friend.
Oh my God.
And then the 3 of them kind of like compare their stories. I bawled like a little bitch.
We're all crying.
It was unbelievable. And that acting, dude, come on, you can't tell me if you didn't know anything, if they removed those suits and they were just them 3 acting,
No.
That's not a superhero movie. That is a legitimate cinematic, gorgeous movie. I mean, it was incredible. The whole
Those are
movie, and
moments, dude.
there's whole moments like that.
They did a lot of great stuff with Andrew Garfield. I think they felt bad for Andrew Garfield. I think
He didn't
us
get
as
the shot.
fans,
Yeah.
because he was such a fan of Spider-Man and gave it so much. But when Toby's sitting there calling him amazing,
That's
right? And he's the amazing Spider-Man, right? Or when he catches MJ,
Oh, dude.
I cried on that too, bro. I cried on that too because he didn't do it in his film set, right? Like,
It was beautiful.
oh man,
It was
there were
beautiful.
some great fucking moments in that movie, dude.
And I heard it set up so much. Like there's even rumors because the ending with Tom Holland's Venom. So this whole theory.
No, what's the theory? Tell me.
So apparently, in Venom 2, you saw that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that,
Whoa.
he sees Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Is that when he wakes up in the bed?
That's right.
It's like the after credit scene, right? Okay.
That's right. So
Right, he sees the news or something, and it says, "Oh, Peter
Right.
Parker is Spider-Man." Right.
But what happened was he got part of the blip. So he just showed up there because the universe got reset because of the Avengers. So he showed up at that universe. The theory is he wasn't originally in the Tom Holland universe. So then if you look at No Way Home, spoiler alert again, spoiler alerts for the rest of this podcast, by the way. But apparently the theory is he was in that universe in Spider-Man No Way Home, but then he disappeared, but he did it in a way just like Toby and Andrew did. It was the yellow sparkle.
The multiverse.
The multiverse. So he went back to his universe, which they're saying is Andrew Garfield's universe. And the reason they're saying this is in Morpheus, in the trailer. Morbius.
Is it Morbius?
I keep saying Morpheus.
I was
Jesus.
like, Matrix? No.
Matrix?
Morbius. Yeah.
Morbius.
So in Morbius, go back to Morbius. What happened?
So in Morbius, in the trailer, if you watch it, he gives references to Andrew Garfield's universe and to Venom.
He does.
He does. So,
Okay.
like in the last trailer, at the end of it, he turns into Morbius and says, "We are Venom." And he goes, "I'm just kidding. I'm Dr. Morbius."
Oh, he does say that. Yes,
Right.
he does. It's hysterical. Right.
So they're thinking those are two because that's Sony properties. So they're thinking they're going to bring back Andrew Garfield and actually do the Amazing Spider-Man 3
Whoa.
with Venom, with Tom Hardy's Venom. That's the theory. And apparently, if you Google it right now, apparently there's already pre-production of it where they're starting to do scenes and shit where they're bringing back Andrew Garfield.
With Andrew Garfield. Now, the only problem with Andrew Garfield, he's a little bit old to be doing Spider-Man right now.
Correct. Yeah, you have to pretend if his movie was based in whatever time frame that was, this is 20 years later.
Yeah,
You gotta,
Toby's definitely too old.
That's right.
When he showed up, I was like, I mean, Toby still looks good, right? But you could see, even for a person that has a baby face, it's a long time ago now.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a little but I'm surprised he didn't look like Bruce Willis does in The Last Die Hard. I mean, he doesn't have a pot belly. He actually looked good.
No, they all were in shape. They all look really good still,
And the fact that they were to be able to keep it together, by the way, let's not forget, especially because I'm an interviewer for part-time, let's not forget about the fact that both of them, actually all three of them, lied to us for months.
All of them. They all lied, and
no one's
good at it.
And no one's bringing it up.
Actually, I just saw an interview where Fallon was talking to Andrew Garfield, right? And on the night show or whatever.
Yeah.
And Fallon was like, Andrew, there's a picture of literally you and Tom Holland on a movie set together. Are you in the new Spider-Man? And Andrew, played it off enough, and he was like, no,
he laughs
it's not
and
me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah. And
Because
then
because I had an idea Andrew was in it, because it took me 2 weeks to see the film. So I saw some things and I was like, okay, Andrew's in it, right? I got it. But I didn't know Toby was in it. They hid that still to this day almost pretty well. And so I was like, when I saw Andrew, I was like, please have Toby show up. Please have Toby show up. Because that's when we kind of started getting into Marvel movies.
That's my Spider-Man for sure. I still love all those movies. Yeah.
100%. And then when he showed up, I was like,
oh,
I almost clapped. I almost was that guy that clapped.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because when I watched it, I ended up, bringing the wife obviously, but I watched it a couple weeks after because I was in the hospital when it came out, but I ended up watching I think last week or 10 days ago or something like that. And everyone that was there was during the daytime on a weekday, and no one was like a fan. So like
Yeah.
when the rings come up and it's Toby, and I'm like, yeah, and no one's doing it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is no one
Yeah.
doing it? And then Brenda's looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, don't you get it? Thank goodness
that's
she
a big-
saw. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's been
It was
20
cool
years.
though, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that whole last act saved the film. Like, was I completely like, this is the best Marvel movie ever made up to that point? Probably not.
Yeah.
Do I think it's fine? And like, I don't think Doctor Strange is at least in my fan base large enough of a character.
Yeah. To hold that.
To like care to hold it down, and like Tom Holland Spider-Man is good, but like I'm a Tobey Maguire guy, right? So
yeah. Well,
but
it's
that
like, yeah, it's like the same thing with Christian Bale is a lot of people's Batman, but for me it's like it's Michael Keaton. It's
interesting.
You're a Michael Jordan fan at our age, but kids nowadays think it's LeBron. It's just kind of one of those things where, especially with movies, because movies get more and more technical and more CGI and more sexy. It's like when you watch Batman, the very first Batman with Michael Keaton, you don't appreciate it as good as you do with Christian Bale.
No,
you just don't. But again, if Christian Bale was in the 80s, you probably would have appreciated just as much. But the fact that there's so much like new fight scenes, new CGI that you don't, Michael Keaton didn't have the opportunity to do.
No.
So you can't really appreciate it that much.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see him in the Flash to see what it means
cool.
now. Now they might put him, are they going to put it, is it like present day with Michael Keaton, or is it like 85 Michael Keaton where like he'll be stuck with his old ass technology still?
Yeah, I heard it's going to be like today where he is.
Okay.
And it's that universe, like he's been Batman for 25 years.
Right.
But he's kind of like hung up the cow a little bit. Maybe there's a Robin in that universe, or maybe there's another Batman. I heard, this is total geek stuff, but I heard there's works of a Batman Beyond movie, which Batman Beyond was a cartoon, and the whole premise behind it was like set in like the year 2080 or whatever. And Batman himself is like 80 years old in a wheelchair, but he's teaching this younger Batman to do it. And I heard Michael Keaton rather, he signed on for 3 Batman films.
Jeez.
And this isn't even one of them with the Flash. This is just a cameo. So
that's wild, huh?
We'll see, man. I don't know.
I just read yesterday that Affleck is in is going to be putting on the Batsuit one more time.
That's in the Flash as well.
Oh, he's going to be in the Flash as well?
Yeah, he's in the Flash. They're trying to do their own little Spideyverse.
Yeah.
So.
It's cool though. I think and I'm okay with that coming out in our Marvel movies, where
that's right.
It's peppered in a little bit of nostalgia for every fan that's been around since the 80s or 90s or whatever. It's cool.
No, dude. No, it's big. I mean, movies itself just keep getting better, and it's got to be exciting to be in the industry, right?
Yeah. There's only going to be better and bigger opportunities coming.
Yeah, because you get the opportunity to work with so many different people and do different things and kind of challenge yourself. And the handler again, dude. I think when people watch it and they go into expecting it's a low budget film, and they're like, all right, let me see what this guy can do, and they see the type of action stunts and the type of fighting that you can do on not just a low budget but low time frame, I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for you. So I'm proud of you, man. It was cool to see.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. And like anything, I go into it, I like commit 1,000%, like regardless of the budget or whatever. The problem is, and like I was talking to a lot of people this weekend about it, and no matter how great of an actor you are, like no matter, you could be a Marlon Brando, a Brad Pitt, or whatever, right? If you're in a low budget situation, there's only so much that you can shine.
Right. That's true.
Like if you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, like they had these great close-ups of Tom Holland crying, right? Like when, spoiler alert, when May dies, right? Like, dude, he did some great acting there. Even like the last scene where he goes to see MJ, and they don't recognize him because that's the whole thing. But his eyes water up, and like there's some great close-up moments where you're like, that's some good acting. But like little do they know, like that was an all day probably shot for him, you know, like the director's in his ear, like, hey, you know, let's find somewhere, a place for you to get, and like
Yep.
let's work on it, right? Me, there's two scenes. There's in The Handler. There's a scene where I'm sitting with the mob boss and he's talking about my son, right?
Yeah.
And my eyes are watered the fuck up, dude. Like I am Tom Holland fucking level shit.
That was
Because you would
good.
never know because the camera's like fucking far as shit, this boring background. Like you're not in it the same way,
Yeah.
you know? And
Well,
it just goes to show
and it's the lighting. It's
the lighting, dude.
You know, keep in mind they have the movie budget to actually create and compose authentic music with bands and fucking violinists and directors, and you know they have their own team that does this music, and the music kind of gets you in a mood too.
Yeah.
And you know when you don't have that, because even if you wanted to put on a Little John song in your movie, you got to pay Little John.
You gotta pay who owns the right to that song as well.
Right. So, you know, in a movie like yours and so many others, when there's no music, it's because that costs millions of dollars to just get either your own music produced, or you have to pay artists for their music. So it's like, you got to take all of that into account when you're watching a flick like that.
Yeah, and we ended up on The Handler. The composer is actually Grant, who did the GoldenEye video game.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, he also did Donkey Kong, I think.
How come it doesn't say that in the credits? It should. From the guy who
should.
brought you GoldenEye.
I know, dude. He knows the director through Twitter, and we've linked up a few times. And this was it's like the second or third movie that he's done. But I thought that was cool because it was like, you know. But you're right. Even Grant by himself with probably a few pennies, he can only do so much, and at his level, even, you know.
Yeah.
And you're right, and lighting is so important. And then the second scene is when it's like a flashback. It's like right after that, and I'm sitting there smoking, and like the friend comes over. He's like, "What do you need me for?" And he's like, and I'm like, "I'm out." I'm also like all teared up and in my emotion, but it's shot from 7 miles away, and like there's no, you know what I mean? Like, so again, it comes down to, you know, I was in it for everybody. You just probably didn't get to notice it.
Yeah. No, dude, you were definitely in it 100%. You could tell you put in a lot of effort for the short amount of time that it was. And let's keep in mind, you were shooting in 2020, right? So things were a little funky.
COVID times, yeah. You know,
so there were some strict policies that I'm sure were in place, and you probably had to rush and do some things. And, you know, it's funky. But I enjoyed it, man. I think, you know, if you put out a couple more of those and you're in those action scenes, I can't imagine you not being in a high budget action flick in 5 years. You know, just from what I saw, you know, you do, and even the people you were fighting with, like, you know, that scene from Tyrone, I'm gonna bust his chops. Now that I saw that, because that was cool. Spoiler alert: you get shot, motherfucker. But yeah, that was cool, man. So, but even the people you were fighting with, it was choreographed very well, and you know, you played it off awesome. So it was cool, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, everybody did a good job for what they were. You know, because we did like a casting call. It was like, hey, if you have any kind of fight experience, you know, show up. You know.
Oh, really?
Nobody has fight experience, bro.
Right. Not on set. Maybe like at a bar or something, but that doesn't count.
No, their fight experiences. I did Tai Bo class or some shit. You know, and like that's so fucking different, dude.
Yeah.
And but they still, even after kind of lying, you know, were able to take rehearsals quickly, and nobody really got hurt, and it was cool.
It's so funny. Well, for people that don't know, obviously I threw up your IG, only Chris Levine. But for people that don't know, when and where can they get The Handler? I know it's on Amazon Prime now.
Yep. So it's on all the digital platforms that you can rent or buy movies, YouTube, even. And then on DVD, February 2nd, you'll be able to buy the DVD. Ooh. Hopefully in stores at Walmart. If not, it'll be like online on any place where you can buy DVDs, including Amazon, Walmart.com, Target.com, that kind of thing.
Which nowadays, that's the way to go anyway.
Yeah, I think it's cool though to be in a Walmart store and be able to buy it, and like
that would be tight.
That's the case. That would be tight.
That would be a dope little TikTok for sure.
It's a good TikTok, yeah, for sure.
Well, you let me know, because if it is in stores, I'll run around and I'll definitely do that. That'd be cool.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not gonna buy it, but I'll do the video.
No, at least do the video. You don't have to buy it.
Yeah, but dude, I got to. We're at 100. We're at an hour and 19 minutes.
No one's watching this.
No. I mean, an hour of it was just you logging on. So, but no,
What's up, bro? I don't know why it didn't work on the phone.
I don't know, dude. It's probably my fault. I'll look into that. But no, dude, it's always good to see you and to catch up with you,
You too,
man.
brother.
And hopefully we can, connect in person at some point. I feel like I've seen you more virtually than like I ever saw you at LA Fitness, which is weird because it was every day. But
Every day.
but it feels like this is the only way we communicate now.
I know. But
So.
yeah, man, I'm hoping. Here's to your health. I don't pray, but like, you know,
Me neither. Maybe that's why I have
yeah.
this. I don't pray.
I don't pray, but like, you are in my thoughts and good energy your way, brother. And you know, obviously, we all want to keep in the know on what's going on with your health because it matters to us, you know.
Thank you, man. It means a lot. I appreciate that. And I'll keep you posted, and I'll text you after this. But yeah, we'll stay in touch.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Thanks, bro. Be good, man. Enjoy your week.
See you later. You too. Bye.